and welcome to our study on different breathing methods. For the next 5 minutes or so, I'm going to teach you a very specific way of breathing that may be rather different from the way you normally breathe in everyday life. The thing I'm going to teach you is called deep diaphragmatic breathing. Now, have you ever heard the advice to just take a deep breath? It sounds like great advice, and it's supposed to calm you down and help you feel less agitated, less stressed, less angry. Unfortunately, it doesn't really work very well for most people. The reason for that is that most people, when they take a deep breath, don't take a deep diaphragmatic breath. What they do is they take a shallow chest breath, like this. That's what most people do. In fact, it's what most people do when you're at the doctor's office and the doctor's listening to your chest and says, "Now take a deep breath." Most people go like that. You try it. Just see what happens naturally. Most people find that their chest rises and their shoulders come up a little bit towards their ears. Actually, that kind of breathing is not relaxing at all. In fact, if anything, it's likely to make you feel a little bit more keyed up and on edge. A true deep diaphragmatic breath looks very different. So I want you to stand up now and actually do this with me as I practice it. Go ahead and push your chair back, stand up. Now I want you to put one hand on your belly right here, sort of right over your belly button. Put the other hand up here on your chest, all right? So first try taking a deep breath the way people usually do. I want you to really pay attention to how that makes you feel. Pay attention to what happens to sort of muscle tension in your body and how tense versus relaxed you feel. All right, now I'm going to show you a true deep diaphragmatic breath. Don't try to do it with me. Let me just show it to you first. Watch both of my hands while I take a deep diaphragmatic breath. If you watch carefully, you'll notice that it's the hand on my belly that's moving, not the hand on my chest. So again, here's a prototypical, actually shallow chest breath. And here's a deep diaphragmatic breath. If you listen carefully, you may also be able to hear that I'm actually taking in a lot more air when I take a deep diaphragmatic breath. All right, now I'm going to teach you how to do it. So the first thing we're going to do is isolate that muscle. Don't even worry about breathing. I mean, keep breathing. I don't want you to stop breathing, but don't worry about breathing for a minute. The first thing I want you to do is just find that muscle. Just go ahead and contract it a number of times over and over again. I'm not pushing in with my hand. My hand is just there to show you, as if you were like wearing a swimsuit at the beach and you really needed to sort of suck it in here. After you do that for about a couple of seconds, you might actually start to feel some muscle burn right in here under your rib cage. That's your diaphragm, and that's the muscle that we're going to use for this. Okay, stop. Now the next thing I want you to do is to practice using that muscle to exhale. We're really going to push the air out of our mouths as forcefully as we can by contracting that muscle, as if your lungs were a balloon and you were squeezing them suddenly. When you squeeze a balloon, you force the air out, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So just watch me first. You can actually even hold your finger up like this and pretend you're blowing out a candle. I really want you to be able to feel the air rush past your finger. Okay, now you go ahead and try it. Try it with me. As you contract that muscle in, it should expel the air out of your mouth. Okay, now just stop and relax. Breathe normally for a moment. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use that same muscle contraction to blow the air out. But this time, instead of doing it short and sharp and fast, we're going to do it really slow and controlled. It's going to be a long, steady exhale, almost as if we were blowing out all the candles on my last birthday cake. And believe it or not, that's 50 candles. So we really have to do that slowly. All right, so here we go. You ready? When you're done with the exhale, I want you to just relax. Just relax and let the belly muscle soften and let the air kind of pour back into your lungs. Okay, so let's do that 3 times in a row, nice and slowly. Okay, go ahead and exhale. And relax. And let the air pour back in. And again, let's exhale let the air pour back in. Okay, now we're going to slow it down even just a little bit more. Okay, we're going to exhale on a count of about 5 or 6, and then we're going to hold the breath for just a second, and then we're going to inhale. So, inhale, hold your breath, exhale. Inhale, hold your breath, exhale. Inhale. Good. Now hopefully as you're doing this, you're noticing that your belly is the part that's moving in and out. Not your upper chest, and certainly not your shoulders. We really don't need to bring our shoulders up to our ears to take a deep breath. So now just to remind you, here's what you don't want to do. In fact, look at the tendons in my neck. See how that makes you more stressed and tight versus a true deep diaphragmatic breath. Good. Okay, now go ahead and sit back down. Really get comfortable in the chair. And we're going to practice this again for just a few minutes. I'm going to count, and I want you to try to really slow your breathing down to a nice, comfortable pace. If you start to get lightheaded or dizzy at all, it probably means you're breathing too quickly. When you take a true deep diaphragmatic breath, you're inhaling a lot more air. That's technically called the tidal volume of the inhale. Not that that's important, but you might want to know that. When you inhale a lot more air, your body is able to exchange a lot more carbon dioxide and get a lot more oxygen. And actually hyperventilating comes from having, weirdly, too much oxygen in the blood and not enough carbon dioxide. So that can make you feel kind of lightheaded and tingly. The way to stop that is to just slow your breathing down even a little bit more and hold your breath a little bit for a second at the top of the inhale. Now, I guarantee you, if this is feeling weird, I guarantee you your body knows how to do this because it's what you do when you're asleep. Deep diaphragmatic breathing really does turn on the parasympathetic nervous system and turns off the sympathetic nervous system, which is sort of the fight or flight part. When you're asleep, you're naturally doing deep diaphragmatic breathing. Your heart rate is slowing down, your blood pressure comes down, you suppress the secretion of cortisol and adrenaline and all the other stress hormones. Truly, your body knows how to do this. What you're trying to learn now is how to turn that on intentionally and consciously so that you have that kind of reflexive process available to you whenever you want it to help you calm down. Sometimes when you really get good at it, you can slow your resting heart rate down considerably. Let's say your resting heart rate is normally about 70. Taking just 2 or 3 deep diaphragmatic breaths can often lower people's heart rates down to about 60 or 62 beats per minute, which is a lot slower and feels much more relaxing. All right, so let's try again. All right, we're going to go ahead and inhale, hold, and exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I'm going to let you go ahead and just breathe at your own pace for a moment or two. See if you can take about 3 deep breaths over the course of about 45 seconds or so. So that's 1 breath cycle every 15 seconds. So that's about what we've been doing, right? Inhale for 4 or 5, hold for 1 or 2, and exhale for about a count of 8. That'll get you to about a 15-second breath cycle. Okay, go ahead. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Now go ahead and just take a few moments to take a few breaths at your own pace. You can close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that, and just relax into it and feel what happens to your body. Notice your muscle tension sort of draining away with each exhale. It's particularly on the exhale that this feels relaxing. So really see if you can get into the rhythm of it. Good. Thank you. You can now let the experimenter know that you're done with this portion of the study.